I've done hundreds of these. Walk into a room full of people, present my work, and then wait for the reaction. Most of the time there's a sense of relief, and then oftentimes followed by a sense of excitement on their part. But one time I walked into the room and went through that, and the room was just dead quiet. The work was great, but it didn't matter. I'm Marc, this is Undercurrents, and here's what I learned the hard way: why my work wasn't landing. I remember very distinctly a time when I was doing an identity logo presentation for a group of doctors. And, we had been on the project for weeks. We'd done through, the mood boards and the visual style palettes and some of the strategy. And a lot of the stuff was locked down and approved. But I walked in to this meeting ready to close. And I had all the rationale, and I had, the designer lingo and all of the, airtight presentation and justification for all the decisions that we'd made, and presented the work, and the room was just silent. And after a moment, I'm trying to read, are they confused or are they disconnected? And I think it was the latter. And they couldn't see their patience in the work, and they couldn't, then see themselves in the work. And so after unraveling that in my head, I realized that I was missing it. I couldn't see the big picture. Here's what I kept telling myself. I need to perform at the highest level for this group of doctors. This is a high caliber client. There's a lot on the line. I want to be as impressive as we can. We actually want to help their patients. We want to help their staff. But none of that really mattered, because I was going in with skill and expertise as my weapons. And what I needed to go in with was the ability to listen. And, I thought that they needed, all of the arsenal of weaponry that, our team had put together in terms of, design and strategy and all these different things. But what they really needed was someone to think with them and to kind of bridge the gap between what their staff was trying to do and what their patients needed. And clients and customers are a little bit different, but in client services, it's really important to connect in a way where you're doing less of the talking and more of the listening. I think coming in with, here's what you asked us to do, is weak. It's very one-dimensional, and nobody really wants the chore of, managing your output, even if they want your skill. It doesn't matter how good your stuff is if it doesn't work. It's never about the work. It's always about the people. And, clients and customers should do the majority of the speaking. And our job is to identify or dig for the root problem that they want solved. And sometimes it's not even in our normal suite of offerings. Sometimes it's what they need is a referral. But I remember, I'll never forget this meeting. The room goes quiet. There's all these dead eyes looking at you, and you realize that you're the one missing it. And so here's what this looks like. This is a simple Venn diagram. So there's two circles that barely touch the middle. And on one side is your skill and your expertise, what you do. On the other side is the problem that needs to be solved. And a lot of times you don't even know what this is. A lot of times they don't even know what this is. And so your job is to ask the right questions and then to listen. The thin little slice in the middle is the only acceptable result, right? Where these two spheres overlap. And you can't make that overlap any bigger by doing what you've always done or doing impressive work. You have to adapt everything you know to a completely different environment and a different set of challenges. And so really, the only thing you're there to do is gather information. You shouldn't be trying to solve anything until actually you have a full understanding of what that is. And so when I think about this today, I realize that nobody really cares what I do. Nobody cares what you do. They only care how it affects them or somebody that they care about. World-class skill doesn't matter if it doesn't solve the problem, if it doesn't address the issue. And, even if the client needs your skill, that's not what they're hiring you for. They want a partner, somebody to think through the issue with them and, understand the problem, identify and understand the problem, formulate an approach, and then get rid of it. Get rid of the problem. That's all they want. If you've ever walked out of that room feeling like you've presented your best work and it didn't work out the way you thought in your head because you knew you were missing it, I would love to hear about that in the comments. And if you like content like this, I've been doing this for 3 decades and I have a whole bunch more war stories, and you know where to find me.